Alright, next film we're reviewing is Gnomeo and Juliet, and this is another animated feature, and obviously they've been a craze lately. Animated films, of course, usually make for big money at the box office, and after all years of watching, CG animated characters with creepy pasty skin and dead eyes, at least some characters are creepy enough in their own right to fit the motif, and this is Garden Gnomes. And wouldn't you know, by the time somebody dreamed up this gimmicky Toy Story takeoff, Gnomeo and Juliet, that it would have advanced far enough to, I guess you could say, take away the possibility of even that morbid pleasure, I guess you could say, in terms of the way they put this together. Now, Starz Animation does a really good job of breathing life into the creepy little doofuses in this film, though I say that they would have been more effectively and starkly, I guess say, well, pieced together had they displayed the soul deadness of Tom Hanks in The Polar Express. Now, beyond that, what is there to say about a movie that beats its eccentric premise into the ground after the first scene, and it doesn't stop? The kids today they just love their Shakespeare jokes, I guess you could say. This movie's going to fall in the deaf ears of kids, and the adults are just going to wince at it, if you ask me. And what is there to add about this, 3D kid flick? And there's nothing they really want to do here. Elton John is involved here. He's recycled in every way possible as a soundtrack and musical accompaniment. Imagine your song with the lyrics clumsily written to, I guess you could say, accentuate the story of gnome love. Again, it's just another wasted talent here involved in this film. He's not the only one. The story begins, of course, on Verona Street, where occasionally, seen feuding neighbors Mrs. Montague and Mr. Capulet, played by Julie Walters and Richard Wilson, respectively, exchange their morning hormones and yada yada yada, and fancy English gardens and whatnot. And then the Toy Story exohuman world reverts to its normal intimate state in the presence of humans. Obviously, like I said, it's just ripping off. Then there's Gnomeo, played by James McAvoy, really doing pretty good voiceover work. Is of course the cartoon rebel who we're supposed to be rooting for, and his mom, Lady Blueberry, played by Maggie Smith, who really lends always good voices in any film she does. And he has lawnmower racing competitions by his red side enemy, Tyball, voiced by Jason Statham. And this leads him to make eye contact with Juliet, voiced by Emily Blunt, the spirited daughter of Lord Redbrick, Michael Caine, and then stuff happens. Now, of course, there's some great actors doing voiceover work here. Not all of them mash. Some of them do. It's hit or miss, really. But it should be said, it should be said here that Elton seems to be have called in a few favors for voice talent on this thing, because if he's deeply involved in this film, as they say he is, Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan actually come along for the ride here. And while their cameos are probably one of the few worth mentioning, they just kind of, you really forget about the end. But Patrick Stewart, who in my opinion one of the best voiceover artists in all of Hollywood right now with his work on American Dad, one of the reasons why I actually started watching that show, really has some fun here. I really liked his voiceover work and his character that he did. I don't think the children will care much about the material here. I think the Shakespeare jokes will just go sail far over their heads and beyond their parents' heads. In between, you may encounter some things here and there that may be enjoyable, but other than that, there's just nothing really of substantial value to take home with you like some animated films leave you with. And it's just probably one of the worst animated films I've seen in quite some time. That said, it's not terrible, but it's just not good. I give Gnomeo and Juliet 2 stars out of 5.